Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Coming every day? They come to collect evidence every day. But today is the first day that they put a appear in court paperwork on my desk. Yeah. So that's something that we needed. Yeah. No, it isn't.
Hopefully it's clear out.
Speaking of surviving, have you guys been helped yet?
Oh, no, we started chatting, so actually we're waiting to come in and...
You're going to come in anyways after the police and the health inspector were here?
I think so. Why not? Yeah, we'll do what we can, and why do they pick and choose who survives in this province?
So hopefully freedom will prevail and nobody will get a fine. But if there's a risk, we have to stand and maybe suffer for our convictions here.
I'm going to cover your court case like it's the OJ trial. Sheila, Gunn, Reid for Rebel News here in Mirror, Alberta, and it is day 4 of my great illegal burger sit-in at the Whistle Stop Cafe. You see, the owner of the restaurant and gas station behind me, Chris Scott, decided late last week, 6 days ago now, that he would be defying the COVID lockdown and reopening his doors to eat-in dining customers. And I've been here for, well, I guess over half a week now, documenting the support for Chris from the customers and from the community at large for his act of civil disobedience and economic survival. Chris has been threatened with escalating fines and even arrest for reopening. Alberta Health Services has issued a closure notice already and threatened him with having his liquor license pulled. And the police are patrolling constantly at the request of Alberta Health Services. Police have also said that his customers could face fines and arrests too. But we have told everyone here, the staff, the customers, and Chris, that if they do get fined, that we will help them fight those tickets in court at no cost to them with your help at home through fightthefines.com. And business is booming. It remains booming. It's been booming since the beginning. So let's head inside, let's grab a coffee, it's cold, and see what the day brings. Maybe it's fines, maybe it's a little freedom. Let's go. So Chris, I think this is day 6 of you being open, and I spent the day here yesterday, and the police only showed up once and no AHS inspectors. How do you think it's going so far?
I think it's going well. I think we're getting the message out that we need to have some changes happen right away and get small business back operating again.
And the response from the community has been pretty overwhelmingly positive.
Absolutely, yeah. We get phone calls nonstop, messages. People are sending in donations. They're buying other people breakfast. I had 3 people this morning who couldn't get in here. They just sent money and said, "Here, buy somebody breakfast." So it's amazing.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, but you seem a little tired because I think you've been going night and day, but you have had a little bit of negative response.
Yeah, we've had the odd, the odd death threat, the odd name calling, prank phone calls in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. It's all fluff, and it was expected. It's annoying more than anything else, and it actually makes me wonder how much time these people actually have on their hands. Like, couldn't they be a productive member of society and do something positive, right?
And lastly, I wanted to ask you if you've had any response, negative or positively, from members of local government, for example, the local town councillors, Reid, MLA.
I haven't had any comments or input from them yet. I'm sure that they're looking at what's going on and deciding how they want to approach it, and I'm looking forward to their comments.
Now, yesterday in the daily Hinshaw-Shandro press conference, they were asked about, not specifically about yours, but restaurants in general who are defying the lockdowns, and they said that in the coming days there would be some sort of strategy going forward. Do you think you had anything to do with that?
I don't know. We're just a small cafe in the middle of Mirror, Alberta, so probably not. I'm sure they had it on the go already.
You guys have been waiting for a little bit, but you're still waiting. Why was it important for you to come to the Whistle Stop today?
I'm glad to see they're taking a stand and opening up against the ridiculous rules.
Now, you told me a little story off camera about a restaurant in your own small town of 200 people, someplace smaller than Mirror, and they tried to reopen, and the cops were pretty swift with them to shut them back down.
I wasn't there that day, but I think about 2 hours, and they already had a ticket, and health services or health AHS shut them down. And then they reopened on Monday after for dine-in. And last night we ate there again.
Fantastic. And you told them to reach out to me at fightthefines.com because I'll help them fight that ticket.
Yeah, I'll tell Chris again to contact you.
You're here with your dad?
Yeah.
Why'd you come?
Well, I just think the whole government thing is pretty stupid, them locking everybody down, and, you know, it's good to come out and support the people who are standing up against it, so.
What do you think about this idea that you can go get a poutine at Costco with 500 strangers, but you can't get a poutine here?
Well, it's kind of hypocritical and just helping the big companies that the government always supports, not helping the small businesses that they need.
I'm here to support this business. I'm grateful that there's some Canadians who are courageous enough to fight for freedom and for economic freedom. I'm convinced these lockdowns are very harmful.
Now, do you know that you're risking a fine yourself by being here?
Well, I've gotten a few fines in my life for standing up for what I believe in. I don't want one. I'd rather the police stay away, let the place be open. These are adults. We can make a decision if we want to socialize and eat out or not. So hopefully freedom will prevail and nobody will get a fine. But if there's a risk, we have to stand and maybe suffer for our convictions here.
Kane, if he gets a fine, what should he do with it?
It's give it to you. Give it to you or Ezra. Ezra.
That's right. Send it to me or send it to Ezra at fightthefines.com. We'll help you. Now, Karina, you have been working here pretty well night and day. I know I've been here quite a bit, and you've always been here. You answer the phone, you help with social media, and you and I are taking a minute behind the cooler here to talk because you're getting emotional from the stories that you're hearing now about other people who are affected by the lockdown.
Yes, I am. It's not what we think it is, guys. You know, it's not about just keeping us safe from the coronavirus. I've been working frontline with this since it started in March, and I've been with the homeless. I've been with seniors. I've been with just people. And the phone calls that I'm getting now working frontline is just so emotional. People are telling me stories about how this has affected them on levels that is so much bigger than trying to keep the numbers of COVID down. I've heard loved ones committing suicide because they can't feed their families. They've done everything they can to keep their small businesses going, or they've gotten laid off all the time by the lockdowns and they get rehired, or they don't get rehired. They can't get EI because they don't have enough hours. And then I heard such a sad story today about one family, and their dad was dying. And they were in the hospital, and they couldn't get to be in the room with their dad. And it was his dad, and he was fighting to get there, and the cops had him down on the ground, and he could hear his dad screaming, "I don't want to die alone. Please don't let me die alone." And he did. He took his last breath alone. It's not okay. This is beyond anything that anybody can comprehend. And I stand here today, and I'm not backing down. I never will. I've had death threats. I've had people follow me home. I hear nasty messages constantly, but I won't. It has to start somewhere, and I am so thankful that Chris took the courage to take the first step in Alberta and open up, because it's so much more than health. All of those things outweigh everything. Christmas without loved ones, it's inhumane. The seniors are not dying from COVID. They're dying because they give up. I've had a 93-year-old that passed away. Before she left, she told me her story. I know it's not going to change. I'm bedridden. I can't see anybody. And I'm talking to you through glass. And 4 days later, she passed. And so I'm standing strong, but I just needed a few moments behind the cooler to regroup, brush myself off. I stand strong again, and I support Chris and everyone that takes a stand in Alberta and across Canada. Enough's enough. I'm sorry, it is. Henshaw and Kenny, you've got to listen to us. This is so much bigger. so much bigger than we've ever imagined. Thank you.
And you're donating your time to be here. You're taking a little bit of heat, but as it turns out, the Whistle Stop social media has turned into a bit of a counseling department for a lot of people who are reaching out and telling their stories.
Yes, my phone goes off all night. I get hundreds and hundreds of emails and phone calls, which I am taking. People crying and thanking us for their courage. And in that, I hear their struggles. And so, yeah, I've become a person that's trying to give people hope back that we can do this. And it's all day and all night. It just doesn't end.
Karina, I'm going to give you an illegal hug if that's okay.
Yes, I love one. Thank you.
I've actually had to put it back on.
I noticed that one did go down.
Yeah, my customers take them down. And I say, no, that can't come down.
I appreciate that. So just, you got hand sanitizer everywhere still?
Everywhere, every table.
Excellent. You're wearing your masks. Staff are wearing the masks. And wash your hands. Continue with the sanitizer after each service. Distancing. So.
Distancing, barriers, single-use menus, single-use condiments. Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay, I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Be safe, everybody.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks.
See you. Bye. Morning, Sam.
Good morning.
How are you?
Not bad. Another nice day. Another nice day.
No,
Yeah,
actually,
Days are
Not
getting
really.
longer.
you know what though? This is a step forward.
Yeah.
Them doing this is a step forward. So I'm actually relieved that this has finally happened.
Finally happened.
Yeah.
You're coming every day?
They come to collect evidence every day. But today is the first day that they put a appear in court paperwork on my desk.
Yeah.
So that's something that we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choose who survives, who doesn't. It's not right.
No, it isn't.
Hopefully it's clear out.
Speaking of surviving, have you guys been helped yet?
Oh, no, we started chatting, so actually we're waiting to come in and...
You're going to come in anyways after the police and the health inspector were here?
I think so. Why not? Yeah, we'll do what we can, and why do they pick and choose who survives in this province?
I saw the RCMP came over and talked to you guys at the table. What did he tell you? What did he say to you?
He said we're in contravention of the Alberta Health Act, and we could get a ticket for that. So he gave us both our 2 warnings, and so the third time will probably be a ticket.
But you didn't get up and walk away?
No, I mean, they can't stop us from sitting here, can they? We're not eating, if that's what the big deal is.
I heard you say to Chris that you are not interested in participating in any government overreach.
Correct. I mean, this is ridiculous, right?
So you just popped into the Whistle Stop. The cops just left. They've given Chris a notice to appear. But you came anyway. Why?
Well, hometown. I figured because of this opening up, we live in the best town out there. So have to come and support local. I'm hungry. Same reason everyone else is here.
Okay, so anybody that doesn't have a table right now, I hate to tell you this, but you have to wait in your cars. We're not allowed to have anybody in here right now, but we drew a line at 50% capacity just to try and show that we're trying to do something. So if you guys don't mind, I'd really appreciate it.
I'm very happy that it's up and starting to get back to normal. I know with kids, my kids have been through, basically hell with this. Depression is at all-time high with the kids, and they need to get back out there. Just like school is important, I put my kids in school because they need the social aspect. Well, we need to get out and see people. It's all about the people. We need to get offline. We need to get back in touch with reality.
How's the borscht?
Oh, it's very good, thank you. Yeah, very good.
Does it taste a little better because it's free? As in with a side helping of freedom?
Definitely, that's well said for sure, yeah. Yeah, it tastes pretty good. It tastes pretty sweet.
So why'd you come today?
We're just living locally here, and we came to support these guys because we think that Albertans just want to be free and work for a living. And that's it, pay our bills and work and live.
Do you have a message for the government who continues to lock down small businesses like Chris's here?
I don't think they should be, given the opportunity to tell us what to do, so we're just living our life and coming out for a meal and standing up for our rights and for everybody else's rights that feel like we should have more rights.
So, Chris, the cops were here. AHS was here. I couldn't even talk to you after it happened because then the lunch rush hit. And I've been here for 4 days, and that was the busiest I've ever seen this place. You guys ran out of stuff, and I was answering the phone and bussing tables. Why don't you explain exactly what you were told by AHS and the cops?
So again, it was a very civilized discussion we had. AHS came in and they said, okay, well, this is our next step, what we have to do. They issued me a notice to appear in court on April 22nd because I'm violating the current health restrictions. And they posted another notice on the wall, and that was pretty much it. One of the officers had a conversation with one of the customers that was enjoying a meal here. He didn't receive a fine. He was just doing the education part of his job. And everything went good, and they left, and I was left with a couple pieces of paper.
Yeah, and a full restaurant. You had customers, which I thought was excellent. Speaks to the quality of people who eat here. They were sort of pushing past the cops to come sit down and have their lunch. They weren't scared at all.
I know, that was awesome. Yeah, and then having a discussion with them in the entryway. You guys aren't allowed to be here. Yeah, we know. Or are you gonna say, yeah, we're going to have lunch? That was cool.
Yeah, it was great. And I did a little eavesdropping on the cops and the health inspector as they were outside, and they said that the cops are continuing to come back. They will be back over the next coming days to collect information, I suppose, for AHS for fines, maybe.
I hope so. I hope they take that information, give it to AHS, and I hope they elevate that to the point where a decision maker sees it and realizes that small businesses aren't going to put up with this anymore.
Yeah, that's something I noticed. You said that you were sort of happy that this happened because now you're moving forward.
Right. So over the last few days, we know that the hammer's going to drop, and it's nice now to have that piece of paper in my hand because okay, well, now we know this is what they've done, and we can plan on what our next steps are.
Now, right after they gave you that summons to appear in Stettler Provincial Court in April, and before I had to get up and bus tables, I sent a photograph of that off to our lawyer because we are going to help you battle whatever might come your way before a real judge, as opposed to the judge of Dina Hinshaw, and we're going to fundraise to help you with that. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's awesome. It's very comforting to know that somebody has my back, and not just Rebel, but there's been customers come in today, and they've made some extremely substantial donations towards possible future court costs, or they said even just operating costs, whatever we need it for. They said they're there for us and they support us, and a couple even went so far as to say, if you do go to court and this isn't enough, you call me and we'll make sure that you're taken care of.
I'm going to cover your court case like it's the OJ trial. Now, you're not alone anymore. I'm hearing stories of other businesses that are quietly opening up. There's been a social media campaign, I think probably inspired in large part by you, although I don't think you'll take credit for it, for other restaurants to open up, and it sounds like a few are.
Yeah, it's all over social media. It's no secret, so I'll go ahead and say that we have a restaurant close to us. It's opening up. It's actually one of my favorite places to eat when I'm not eating here, which is rare because I come in here for a coffee and I work for 4 hours. But the Noble Fox in Bashaw, they're opening tomorrow. That's a great place to go. And what we're going to do here at the Whistle Stop is we're actually going to reduce our in-dining tomorrow to soup and sandwich only, so we can have a chance to get caught up, get stocked up, bake some pies, do all that kind of thing. But we also want to make sure that people are aware that there's other businesses doing the same thing and they need the same kind of support we've got. So we'd love to see customers on our page that are wanting to come out and visit us. Head up to the Noble Fox in Bashaw and check them out.
I will be there tomorrow, so somebody else can have my table in here tomorrow. Thanks for your hospitality, Chris, and I'm going to be checking back in on you guys quite a bit until these restrictions are lifted.
Sounds good. I really appreciate it. It's been great having you here.
So there you have it. We saw the RCMP and Alberta Health Services come here today just before the lunch rush and try to close the place down. They slapped a second closure order on the wall, ordering Chris Scott to immediately close his store, the Whistle Stop. And they issued him a summons to appear in Stettler Provincial Court April 22nd for breaching an order issued by the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dina Hinshaw. That's the one that ordered restaurants and bars closed to dine-in services in December. Now, my favorite part of the day was when the customers pushed past the RCMP to sit and dine inside the restaurant, unintimidated and unafraid, and proud to support a local businessman sticking his neck out for his entire industry. It was so busy here today that they ran out of burgers, and I was bussing tables and answering phones. The convenience store adjacent was full of people who were waiting to get in to eat, even though the long arm of the law and the heavy hand of the health bureaucracy had been here earlier in the day to crack down. Well, we told the owner, Chris Scott, do not worry, help is here. Unlike when politicians say they stand up for small businesses, at Rebel News, we really mean it, and we put our money where our mouth is. We're putting Chris in touch with a top lawyer who's going to help him navigate this weird public health dictatorship that we're all under, where an unelected health bureaucrat can send the cops to enforce laws that didn't go before the legislature to punish business owners and citizens because they say we're in an emergency. Well, we need your help, though, to help Chris. The first thing that you can do is sign our petition to support Chris Scott and other small business owners in small towns and big cities all across this great province. These are the business owners who are choosing to open again. We're asking Jason Kenney to reopen dine-in service and call off the cops and health bureaucrats so that people can start to earn a living again. You can sign that petition at savethecafe.com. And if you'd like to donate to help us help these brave restaurants with free legal help to fight their tickets and their shutdown orders and summonses in court, you can donate at that special website, savethecafe.com. We're going to be here to help Chris and people like him fight for financial survival and economic freedom. Why, you ask? Because no burger is illegal and beers with friends over chicken wings can be medicinal. For Rebel News in beautiful, chilly Mirror, Alberta, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Tell Jason Kenney that it is well past time to open up restaurants, pubs, diners, and cafes to dine-in service again. Kenney needs to call off his cops and health bureaucrats who are here to euthanize these businesses that are fighting so hard to survive. Please go to savethecafe.com to sign the petition and donate to our legal fund today.